Hi, I'm Erik Tait, and today I'm counting down the top 10 mentalism effects you can get on Penguin Magic. And stick around to the end to find out the trick that I use to destroy audiences at the world-famous Magic Castle. Number 10 is Hook by Erik Ross, one of the most insane tricks on the list that has been performed on America's Got Talent, made Post Malone squeal in terror, and the one that is sure to get everyone's attention. You put a fish hook in your mouth. With 4 strings, one by one, the audience yanks the strings out of your mouth until only one remains, and miraculously, it's the one tied to the fish hook. This roulette-style routine is shocking, memorable, and surprisingly safe. Erik Ross has done a clever job of developing a gimmick that's easy to use and really limits the danger. If you want to get some attention, this is the one to check out. Now let's find out my number 9. Razor Wallet by D. Christopher is a secret way to glimpse information written down by a spectator cleverly designed into a modern slimline wallet. Mentalists are always looking for sneaky ways to peek at words, numbers, and drawings so that they can reveal the information in exciting ways. The Razor Wallet is perfect for this. The peek is really easy to get, and you can combine it with a really cool type of polarized material that it comes with so that you can leave the information out in the open where you can see it but your audience can't. This wallet is also tough enough to be used like your actual everyday wallet, and it takes up virtually no space even when you're wearing skinny jeans. I've carried one for years, and I know you'll find a bunch of great ways to use it. Hey, before we go any further, my name is Erik Tait. I'm one of the teachers and performers here at Penguin Magic. Do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe button and then ring the bell so you'll be notified when we post more top 10 videos like this. I've worked with or performed nearly every trick that comes across the plate here at Penguin Magic, and it's my job to share my experiences with you in front of a live audience so you can make the best buying decisions for the magic you want to perform. That way, you can stop scrolling and start getting jaw-dropping reactions ASAP. Let's get back to the list at number 8. Executive Pad is a really clever device that allows you to switch written lists on a pad of paper right under your spectator's nose. You can hand this pad out to a group of people for them to write down a list of words, a series of numbers, or even some simple drawings. When you hand it to the person whose mind you're about to read, everything they wrote down gets switched out for a list of your choosing. This type of pad has been around for decades, but the Executive Pad is more in line with modern notepads you would find in a hotel or conference center today. Plus, it's pocket-sized. This is great for add-a-number type effects or forcing from lists of known words using an expanding anagram or other clever mind-reading methods. Lots of people carry pads of paper on them in crossbody sling bags, and it's the size of this that makes it super convenient to use even in formal situations. It's a killer utility device any budding mentalist should take a look at. Time to find out what trick I have at number 7. Easy Writer by Franz is one of the best ways to secretly write down information with your spectator none the wiser. You may be familiar with other types of devices known as boons or Swami gimmicks, but this one has been engineered to give you a tactile feedback so you know exactly where the secret pencil is on a business card or notepad in your hand. Secretly writing is a cornerstone of techniques for mentalisms, but a lot of gimmicks have been difficult to use, as well as tough to get in and out of play. The Easy Writer takes care of all of that. Plus, the tutorial by Tait is an absolute masterclass in learning to secretly write information. I think that even magicians should check this one out. On to number 6. Free Will by Deddy Cobuzier is a modern masterpiece of mentalism. A prediction is placed in the open before anything happens. 3 tokens are presented, and then the spectator chooses who gets what token. They can even switch the tokens and change their mind as many times as they want. The prediction is revealed, and it is correctly divined all of the choices the spectator has made and where the tokens are. This trick feels like something that should have been around since the 40s, but it's actually a relatively modern effect with many beautiful principles involved that a ton of mentalists have since adapted into hundreds of tricks. That being said, the original is still the strongest and deeply fooling to magicians and laypeople alike. The new Deluxe set comes with gorgeous steel and enamel coins and a pre-printed prediction that adds a lot of gravitas to the effect. This one is worth knowing because in a pinch, you can make all of the props with cocktail napkins and still have an incredibly strong effect. Let's start the top half of the list with number 5. Past, Present, Future is a prediction effect using the major arcana of tarot cards. You spread the cards face up and have your audience select 3 cards to represent their past, their present, and their future. It's at this point that you can give them a short reading based on their choices. You then reveal that the cards they selected and chose which position they went into have written on the back the words past, present, and future. This trick is awesome for a few reasons. First of all, the cards do all the work. There's no unusual counting, procedures, or sleight of hand. If you want to get started in getting into more advanced techniques like cold reading, this gives you a great framework to practice. It never fails to get a reaction, and it may be one of the strongest tricks that Rick Lax has ever created. Time to look at number 4. The moment is arguably the most charming routine on the list. It was created by the absolute powerhouse mentalist by Andy Nyman. Andy's work is so strong that he often writes and creates effects for Darren Brown. In the moment, you produce 2 packets of antique circus cards that have different colored backs. One of the packets is mixed by the spectator, and then it is revealed that they're impossibly in the same order as the other packet that has never been touched. In an impossible kicker effect, the spectators has to imagine one of the characters from the cards performing the act in their hand, and the performer is able to successfully divine the character they're thinking of. This trick has a ton of pathos, a motivated story, and a presentation, and it hooks your audience immediately with a story that's apparently from your childhood that's going to captivate everybody. This is also a great one to have on a coffee table or a mantle because it's the kind of trick that makes spectators want to ask what it is, and that gives you the perfect opportunity to perform it. Now let's find out what I have ranked at number 3. Psypher is another secret way of obtaining information from the spectator that they've written down, but it doesn't involve a wallet or envelopes. The spectator writes down a word or a thought on a post-it note and then hides it away. Psypher then delivers that information to you without your audience any the wiser. I've actually used Psypher for years in a routine I detail in my Penguin Live act called the Free Association Book Test. I reveal a thought of word that was completely made up by the spectator in a way that stuns audiences. I've used Psypher as my secret assistant in this piece for over a decade, and it never fails to stun audiences of laypeople and magicians. I've even performed with this at the world-famous Magic Castle and completely fried people with this device. Psypher Pro comes with everything you need to start wrecking people right away and has a tutorial with tons of incredible magic that's shockingly easy to do while still being incredibly powerful. Now let's see what I have at number 2. Wave by Max Maven is one of the greatest mentalism tricks that you can do with a packet of cards. You ask your audience to imagine one of the queens, you then reveal that that queen is the only one face up amongst the other 3 face down cards. You then prove your confidence by showing it's the only red back card, while the other 3 cards are blue. You then blow your audience away by revealing that you didn't even bring the other queens, because the other cards, they're all blank. Max Maven was one of the greatest minds that mentalism has ever seen, and his effect Wave has become a staple for mentalists around the world. It's easy to do, instantly resets, fits in your wallet. There's not a lot of effects that can produce this much magic with only 4 cards, and Wave gives you huge bang for your buck. All right, now let's find out what hit my top spot. Snaps is arguably one of my favorite decks of cards to do mentalism with. It looks like a set of stock photography cards, something you might get at a trade show or something someone might give you to advertise their photography services. But it contains a clever secret because each photo doubles as a letter. Because the cards are printed by the United States Playing Card Company, they handle like a regular deck, so any sleight of hand you know with a regular deck of cards can be applied here. The photos are the real magic though, because you can transform any card trick you already do into something that feels completely different. One of my favorite things to do is to use the cards to secretly spell someone's name. When they see their name written in the photos, it completely flips their world upside down. David Jonathan and Dan Harlan teach you over a dozen tricks with these cards, and you get 2 decks that don't just feature letters, but also feature numbers and symbols as well. The possibilities with this are endless. Snaps secures the top spot for me because it sneaks up on an audience who's never sees the word reveal coming, and because it's so versatile. That's why it's number 1 for me. That's it. That's my list of top 10 mentalism effects you can get here on Penguin Magic. Let me know in the comments if there were any mentalism tricks that you love and that you thought should have been on the list. And be sure to let me know any other top 10 lists you want me to count down in the future. I see almost every trick that Penguin Magic puts out, and I perform nearly all of them in my real-life gigs so I can share those experiences with you. Thanks again for watching, and as always, we'll see you next time.